Gyökeres.
Now the time has come, he was available and we decided to bring him, and he decided that the best option for him was Arsenal.
Eze.
I'd go in, I've got an Arsenal badge. I'm the kid that plays for Arsenal.
Saka.
Improvements that he's making every single day are just frightening. You know, the level he's getting to.
Adding new faces to an already solid, established core means the Gunners are looking better than ever before.
We do have a lot of options, and we are increasing the quality of the squad and the depth of the squad.
Every season they were like me in the bedroom, start out on top but finish second. But with these new faces, there's a real belief that this squad can finally lift silverware.
I think you have a great team this season, also last season, so you have a really good chance. I think you are favorite now because you have a player that's been together for 5 years, so yeah.
A striker who scored 50 plus goals.
But once again, in the summer, they have strengthened to try and push on now.
A Premier League proven winger that can make magic on his own. A Spanish maestro in the middle of the pitch.
He's very good at what he does in that holding midfielder role, but I think Zubimendi is a smart signing.
And of course, Arsenal's own star boy. With all the other top clubs around them spending money like a fat kid at the candy store, Arsenal knew they had to be precise with their signings. They did their business early and efficiently.
Martin, welcome to the Arsenal.
Christian, welcome to Arsenal.
Noni, welcome to the Arsenal.
Victor, welcome to Arsenal.
No last minute panic signings or random purchases. They identified where they had to improve and immediately fixed it. New faces, new profiles, but the goal is always the same: to win trophies. Arsenal knew that to win trophies they had to fix two things: bring in an actual 9 and someone that can upgrade the left hand side of the team. They addressed both areas, so let's start with the men who immediately make Arsenal's attack better, beginning with Eze. Eberechi Eze to Arsenal, adding an elite left winger to play next to Saka, Rice, and Ødegaard. He's flat out one of the best players. He plays with elegance, gliding past defenders like they're not even there. He is one of those players that makes the game look easy. I mean, look at what he did to City in the FA Cup final.
This is more what they were doing, and here's Munoz, who was very involved then. Oh, it's exactly the same. Eze arrives on the scene, the same as the semi-final.
Arsenal already have a top right winger, but now it's time to give poor Saka some help on the left hand side. And they need another winger who can regularly get goals and assists. The problem for Arsenal has been that Saka was the only winger regularly making things happen. According to Sky Sports, before his injury in December of 2024, 45% of Arsenal's attacks were coming from the right third of the pitch. That is not sustainable, guys. Well, Eze, he can help with that. His output has increased every single season at Crystal Palace. When he had first joined from QPR, there was excitement around him, but nobody knew how good he could truly be. The 17.8 million euros price tag was big, so people knew he had potential, but I don't think even the most optimistic Palace fan would have expected such a rise. He was initially brought in to help ease the creative burden on Zaha, and now, over the years, he has become one of the most lethal attacking players in the Premier League. Now, it hasn't always been easy. Injuries have slowed him down at times, but when he's been healthy, Eze is amazing to watch. He's actually able to beat his man, score goals, and create chances for fun. Unlike Martinelli, he doesn't just run for the sake of running. The 2025 season was his best season so far. 14 goals and 11 assists in all competitions. In Crystal Palace's FA Cup run, he was phenomenal. He scored in the third round.
Bailey's there, but he's given it away. Eze turns, hits and scores. Fabulous stuff from Eberechi Eze.
Quarterfinals.
Beautifully done from Eze. Oh, it is a scintillating goal.
Semifinals. And of course in the final. It was a run that really cemented his legacy with the club as he helped them win their first major trophy. Think about how much of a legend he is. Palace lose their best player in Olise, Eze's best friend, yet he steps up as one of the attacking midfielders in Glasner's 3-back setup and leads the team to a title. His goal against Fulham in the quarterfinals is the one that should really excite Arsenal fans the most, because it gives you a glimpse of the damage he can do from the left. Since Eze joined Palace, only 6 midfielders have had more goals and assists in the Premier League than him, and most of them, if you look at this list, have played for bigger clubs and have played more games. That's what impressed me the most about Eze. Not only is he good statistically and on the eye test, but he was doing it all on a very mid team. If you look at where Crystal Palace finish in the league every season, these guys are always 12th. They are rarely in actual danger of relegation, but they are also never knocking on the door of European football. They are by definition mid. Then in the 2025 season, they also had to deal with Olise not being there, so Eze carried the burden of creativity all on his shoulders. Let's look at his game against Ipswich, for example. Look at his touches. The man was everywhere, constantly trying to make things happen. What makes Eze an elite winger, what makes him better than Martinelli and Trossard, is that he's an asset both in transition and in tight spaces. Someone like Martinelli, for example, is super fast and explosive, but turns into the road runner in the attacking third against low blocks. Against Madrid in transition, he looked like Henry. Against Brentford, he should have had his Brazilian passport revoked. Trossard is better in tight spaces, but he's more of a finisher. He's great at shooting with both feet, but he isn't an elite creator like Eze. He isn't just gonna pick the ball up and beat 2 to 3 guys consistently the way Eze does. Only 4 attacking players completed more take-ons than the Englishman in the Premier League in the 2025 season. And not only did he take a lot of players on, his efficiency was also very good, slightly over 50%. Looking at this data from Sky Sports, you can see that Eze ranks very high in shots, take-ons completed, and chances created. The perfect categories to dominate as a winger. His duels won is also high, in case you guys are worried about his defensive work rate. He won the ball back in the middle and defensive third more than almost any other attacking player in the Premier League in the 2025 season. His numbers were also considerably more per game than Martinelli and Trossard. As I stated earlier, Eze can punish teams in transition with his speed and behind, but he can also create something out of nothing when everyone is parking the bus. As you can see in their heat maps, Trossard and Martinelli hug the touchline while Eze roams around in the middle more. Now, of course, a part of this is that the players are playing for different managers in a different system. Eze has different instructions under Glasner than what Martinelli and Trossard are told by Arteta, but it still gives you a glimpse into his potential, the damage he can do from the left wing. He can cause trouble on the touchline by staying wide, but he can also create havoc in the middle when he cuts in. Interestingly, Eze actually had to adapt to dropping deep to receive the ball in possession and then breaking down a low block. Before, he was at his best when he was carrying the ball upfield and playing passes in behind. He was way better when the game was open, but as the season has gone by, he has improved tremendously at playing against low blocks. And the good thing for him will be that at Arsenal, he won't have to shoulder the creative burden all by himself. There are other players that can create for him, others that can take over matches if needed. I think Arsenal fans will love this quote from Eze to The Athletic in 2023. He basically said that he wants the license to be free and to create, but within a structure. Arteta's balls are probably tingling just hearing that, because Arsenal have the structure. They have the specific patterns of play in their build-up. Everybody knows where they need to be and what runs to make. What they need is someone that can create something out of nothing. Technically, they have one guy who does that, and that's Saka. Ødegaard can do it as well at times, but I consider him more of a pure creator. By the way, he is another player whose game will drastically improve with the addition of a player like Eze, because that's another runner, another outlet for Ødegaard to find in between the lines. Arsenal already dominated the ball. They're able to pin teams back high, but they need more players that can make something happen with that possession. You don't want to just be pinging the ball left and right, recycling possession without actually doing anything. That's foreplay with zero penetration. What's great about this move is that it isn't just fantastic from a footballing perspective, but there's a lot of sentimental value in it as well. You see, Eze was actually a part of the Arsenal Academy when he was younger. He wasn't just excited to be a part of the team, he wore the badge with pride. He grew up supporting the Gunners, so it was a dream come true for him to play for the team he loved.
Just to be, I would go in, I've got an Arsenal badge, I'm the kid that plays for Arsenal.
But then, at the age of 13, he was released. A heartbreaking moment early in Eze's journey.
Afterwards, it became difficult because as a kid, your identity is almost wrapped up in that.
Reportedly, he cried for a week.
Because of what Arsenal meant to me at the time, I've got tears ready to pour down my face.
After that, he had short spells at other clubs like Reading and Millwall. At Millwall, the playing style didn't suit him. He was a creative player who loved having the ball at his feet, but the team played like Stoke, just pinging long ball. They didn't use a number 10 like him, so when he got released again, he wasn't surprised. He had been through it so many times. Clubs kept telling him that he didn't want it bad enough, which actually hurt him the most because it was everything that he wanted. At one point in 2016, it looked like football might not work out. He was about to start working part-time at Tesco and thinking about going to college. But then his agent told him that QPR wanted to give him a trial, and Eze took the opportunity right away, knowing that this could be his last ever chance at making it as a professional. Thankfully, QPR liked what they saw. He signed for the club in August of 2016, and a few months later, he made his debut in an FA Cup game. The moment though was bittersweet because he got injured after just 18 minutes, and that ended up up being his only appearance that season. In 2017, QPR sent him on loan to Wycombe Wanderers in League 2, and that's where things really started to click. He became a regular, and although he was played in different positions, he was balling. He scored his first senior goals in a brilliant brace against Cambridge. It was at this point that fans started to take notice. He continued playing well and helped Wycombe push for promotion. He had actually played so well that after 20 games, QPR asked him to return, because this time he was going to actually stay with the first team. Seeing the glimpses of his talent, the club now believed in him. In fact, they actually started to build the team around Eze. He played as a number 10, the role that he loved, and he was allowed to express himself. They let him have the freedom to dribble past defenders and to entertain the fans. None of that robotic nonsense. Against Hull, he ran nearly the full length of the pitch, dancing past defenders and then winning a penalty. In March of 2018, he scored his first goal for QPR in a win over Sunderland, and that goal was just the beginning, because the next season, they gave him the number 10 shirt, another sign of their trust and belief in him. Eze had become one of the team's most key players, not only scoring goals but creating chances. Now during this period, he did have his ups and downs. Sometimes he would start, other times he would be riding the bench. But still, by the end of the 2019 season, he had made 46 appearances. And then the next season is when he really shined. He scored 14 goals and played in nearly every game. He was now QPR's star, and the fans knew it. The club gave him the Supporters Player of the Year award, and he was named in the Championship Team of the Year. It was obvious to everyone that he was Premier League ready, and Crystal Palace noticed this too, signing him for £17 million in August of 2020. It was a big move and an even bigger step up. He ended up making his debut in September and scored his first Palace goal in November, a wonderful free kick against Leeds. He actually had a very strong first season, but unfortunately a serious injury sidelined him for months in 2021. Still though, he came back stronger. He ended up even getting the number 10 shirt at Palace, and slowly he found his form again. In the 2023 season, he caught fire, especially after Roy Hodgson returned as manager, as he scored 10 league goals and finished as Palace's top scorer. Him and Olise became one of the most lethal duos in the Premier League. When these guys were on the pitch at the same time, it was pure magic. They were pretty funny off the pitch too. Against Sheffield United, for example, Eze was electric. He scored twice and Olise had set him up beautifully for one of the goals. Interestingly enough, in the 2023 season, Olise had assisted Eze 7 times in the Premier League. Literally half of Eze's goals had come from Olise. Just take a look at this chart right here to get a breakdown of just how much the two of them created for the Eagles. While he was a fantastic player for Crystal Palace, there has never been a better time for a move. He already helped them clinch a title, and now it's time to play with a better crop of players. The left wing position can be all his for years to come. And I think even with the great performances and stats that we have seen so far from him, he has another level that he can hit. We all saw how good he was at Palace when there was someone high quality next to him like Olise. And at Arsenal, there are multiple players like that can feed him the ball. Not to mention, he will be on a team that is defensively solid. Arsenal haven't had any issues leaking goals under Arteta. The defense is the last of their worries. What they have needed is more players that can just take over a match, because other teams have noticed that Arsenal don't have many of those guys. That's why teams constantly double Saka. They've realized that if you gangbang the poor guy on the right, there is no other outlet for Arsenal to punish you with. But with Eze, Arsenal will have another tool that they can use to open teams up. With Arteta constantly signing these tall NBA players to be more dangerous from set pieces, Eze is a breath of fresh air. A technically excellent winger that can improve an area that the Gunners desperately need help with. The next area that needed improving was the striker position, and that's why the Gunners brought in Gyökeres.
What is the expectation of Victor Gyökeres coming into Arsenal? To score goals.
He scored goals in England at Coventry in the Championship. He scored lots of goals in Portugal at Sporting. And Arsenal have paid big money because they want somebody to put the ball in the back of the nets.
The Swedish striker racked up 97 goals in just over 8,400 minutes for Sporting. So essentially 97 goals in 93 full matches. He won 2 league titles and 2 silver ball top scorers. The man was outscoring everyone from Haaland to Mbappe to Harry Kane. In the 2025 season alone, he got 54 goals and 13 assists in all competitions. He was scoring everywhere from the Champions League to the Portuguese League to even Nations League. Despite Sweden being knocked out early, he still remained the top goal scorer in the competition. But a lot of people still doubt him. After all, he's not the only player to look really good in the Portuguese League. Jackson Martinez, Jonas, Darwin Núñez are all strikers that dominated in the Portuguese league, yet they never replicated that form again. And the biggest reason that Arsenal fans have doubts over this guy is because of the way he gets his goals. If we look at this data from The Athletic, you can see that the majority of his runs without the ball are in behind. He doesn't come deep to connect with the play, instead he's looking to be direct. He wants the ball in spaces in behind, in the wide channels, so that he can sprint onto it, completely bully the defender, and score. If you look at his goals, they all kind of look the same. He is just too fast and too strong for anyone to stop him. It was the same situation in the Champions League when he destroyed Man City, so it's not a Portuguese league thing. According to Skill Corner, he made 85 sprints in behind the opposition defensive line in 2025, with each run being at an average pace of 25 kilometers per hour or more. That was more than double of any other striker in the division. Look at this goal against Boavista. Gyökeres receives the pass in the left channel, his favorite position. He's isolated 1v1 with the defender. He can go either way in this situation, but chooses to chop into his right, and while his touch is slightly heavy, he contorts his body to make sure he gets over the shot and puts it right into the bottom right hand corner. The fact that Gyökeres loves the left channel is a great sign for Arsenal fans, because in the 2025 season, only 32.9% of their attacking touches came in the left third. The right side was dominated by Saka and Ødegaard, while the left side was more empty than Bonnie Blue's brain. The counter argument to this, however, is that the time and space that Gyökeres takes advantage of in the Portuguese league is not available in the Premier League. And Gyökeres isn't the intricate type of striker who checks in for the ball and creates these tiki-taka triangles. But even if he got 50% less goals in England, he would still be a massive asset. A 20-goal striker would help Arsenal out so much. Just having a direct outlet would be a massive plus. His work rate and aggression would give Arteta another tool to use in order to break down teams. I mean, look at what this guy was doing to Sturm Graz in the Champions League. Gyökeres receives the ball in the left channel, rolls his man, then drives past the 3 recovering defenders, dribbles by the keeper, and scores. A goal created from nothing with none of his teammates around him. You're telling me that opportunities like this won't arise in the Premier League, in the Champions League? I also believe that the presence of Gyökeres would actually make Arsenal a better team in transition. In the 2025 season, Arsenal were towards the bottom when it came to converting possession regains into fast attacks. So Gyökeres will at least give them an option for a direct outlet when they do win the ball back. He can barge his way through the defenders in a way that nobody else on this Arsenal team can. Look at what he was doing for Sporting during counterattacks. Just his sheer presence dragged a center back into midfield, which opened up the space for his other teammates. Then when he does face a low block, it's fine, because he has good movement in the box. A lot of Arsenal fans focus on the fact that Gyökeres doesn't score a lot of headers. It's a bit shocking for people who have never watched him play, because he's this big guy who's built like a unit, but he doesn't score headers. Having said that though, that doesn't mean that he's not good in the box. Here he is battling in the box with the Chavez center back Nogueira. The ball gets played into Gyökeres, who pins Nogueira back. He lets the ball roll across his body and finishes it with his left foot on the swivel. So no, he's not Kai Havertz in the air, but he has ways of punishing teams when he's in the box. And that's good, because in the 2025 season, only 4 teams attempted more crosses from open play than Arsenal. However, those crosses never really turned into chances, but that can easily be changed with the presence of Gyökeres. A quarter of the Swedes' touches in the 2025 season actually came inside the penalty area. So yes, he's at his best in open space, but his energy, his aggression, his anticipation in the box also allowed him to be a poacher. Now, I'm not saying he's as good as Haaland, but they were saying the same things about the Norwegian striker when he first came to City. He was using his brute force and strength to dominate teams in the Bundesliga, and everyone kept saying that he won't be able to replicate that form in the Premier League where there's less space, while the Norwegian simply adjusted his game and used his freakish physicality to outmuscle defenders to score. Gyökeres just has to do the same thing. He's gonna have to find a way to scrap defenders and find those little bits of space in the box to punish teams, which, to be honest, he's already used to doing because he did it in England when he was at Coventry. The man has scored everywhere he has gone and offers Arsenal something different. If the Gunners want to add some silverware to their trophy cabinet, they're gonna need a striker like Gyökeres. While Arsenal need a striker, you need a jersey. Get yourself an Arsenal jersey at buygamejerseys.com and use code PETTALKS at checkout. Then on the right wing, Arsenal already had one of the best players in the league in Saka, a player who has gotten better season after season. Teams knew how deadly Saka was in isolated positions on the wing, so they doubled him to take away the spaces that he likes to run in. While this made Saka's game less entertaining, his stats have only gotten better. He is the youngest player with back-to-back 25 goals and assist seasons in the Premier League since Wayne Rooney did it in 2006 and 2007. He is also the second youngest Arsenal player to get 25 goals and assists in a single Premier League season. The youngest is himself just a season before. There's only 4 players with 50 plus goals and assists in the last 2 Premier League seasons, and Saka is one of them. He has become just the 4th youngest Arsenal player to reach 200 appearances for the club, and has become the youngest Arsenal player to get 50 goals for Arsenal in the Premier League. Perfect example of Saka's talent and mentality can be seen in what happened in the Champions League quarterfinals against Madrid. Saka stepped up to take a vital penalty, score, and the second leg was done before it even began.
Facing Thibaut Courtois.
Yet he missed. He tried a Panenka that didn't come off.
And it's saved!
Wow, I cannot believe he's gone for the dink. He's actually tried to dink that, his eyes. But watch, he tries to dink that almost over the top of him. That, I don't think is the right pen for that occasion, I really don't. That was such an advantage for Arsenal potentially there to go 4 goals to the good.
Like, what is Carvajal doing? Do you know how much of a prick you have to be to make Saka, of all players, mad? But even with the Real Madrid guys doing their best to be even more dislikable than they already are, Saka stayed calm. Just look at his face. He knew he would get his revenge. And he did. Not only did he score, but he actually got the chip he wanted, putting the ball over that giraffe Courtois. Even with a missed pen, Saka had been the best player on the pitch in a game that had Vini, Mbappe, and Bellingham.
We've seen him missing a penalty at the Euro that didn't bother him, and it didn't bother him tonight.
While many might have felt that the gap between Saka and those stars was massive,
Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Jude Bellingham, these players who are in the mix for the Ballon d'Or every year. I mean, your numbers have been so good over the last 2 or 3 years. Do you feel you're getting to that level personally? Do you feel you should be in that conversation?
What conversation exactly?
Marino looking for Saka. Brilliant.
he showed that he can compete with anybody in the world. That's why I'm very certain that when he was shushing the Bernabeu, he was not actually thinking of Henry, but instead he wanted to prove two things. Number one was to shush the Madrid fans and the players who had tried to get in his head after the penalty. And secondly, he wanted to remind everyone that he is also one of the best talents in world football. Despite all of these accolades, there are still people who doubt Saka's ability. People make fun of him limping when he gets subbed off despite the fact that he's one of the most fouled players in the league. When you're an elite winger, defenders are going to kick you to slow you down. Then there are people who completely overlook how important he has been to Arsenal in big games. His performance against Madrid, what he did to Bayern Munich a year earlier. Saka is about as close as Arsenal have gone to a Thierry Henry-esque player. Someone who is the face of the club, considered one of the best in the world, and who embodies what the club stands for. The good thing for him is now he doesn't have to shoulder all the responsibilities because he has a good backup. With Madueke in the squad, Arsenal have another proper right winger. It means that Saka can actually be rested. It means the team can rotate without seeing a drastic drop off in quality. Remember, at one point in the 2025 season, Arteta had Martinelli playing on the right. The over-reliance on Saka was a huge issue, and now you're getting a worthy backup. So yes, the price is high, but the positive is that you're getting a player who is already comfortable with the league and the country. He's already friends with a bunch of the guys on the team, and he's played in some pretty big games. Because Madueke, at his best, is a good winger. He is a direct dribbler who thrives in 1v1 situations. His dribbling is actually his biggest strength, because not only is he fast, but he can beat defenders either way. He of course prefers going onto his left foot, but he has zero issues going to his right and either shooting or cutting the ball back. That's actually what makes him such a good dribbler. He is able to create separation to create a scoring opportunity. He isn't just dribbling for the sake of dribbling. He wants to create a bit of space between himself and the defender because that's all he needs to take a shot. Madueke got 11 goals and 5 assists in all competitions in the 2025 season, despite not being a nailed-on starter. 7 of those goals came just in the Premier League. So there is this foundation to work with. And I think Arteta sees Madueke as this young, exciting winger that he can develop into an even better player. The problem with Madueke has never been his talent. This guy was rated quite highly back when he was still at PSV in the Eredivisie. The problem with him has been his inconsistency. He will have a dominant performance like what he did against Wolves.
Here's Madueke. Oh, he's done it! Sado stealing in. Palmer has Madueke with him. Here he is again from that angle, and he's scored again! And it's on again now for the hat-trick. Madueke!
then follow that up with a series of performances where you forget that he was even on the pitch. His lack of end product is what frustrated Chelsea fans the most. He underperformed his expected goals by 2.66, so based on the chances he had, he should have gotten at least 9 goals, potentially 10, but he only got 7. The silver lining from this though is that this was the first time in Madueke's career where he underperformed his expected goals. In a new environment with a different manager and different players around him, he could easily get better. Madueke ranked among the Premier League's top 15 players for non-penalty expected goals and expected assists combined per 90 minutes. He was in the top 10 for shots per 90 and even higher for touches in the opposition box. Maresca actually valued Madueke quite highly. He started in a lot of games. He, like others, just questioned his consistency. He wanted to see more from the English winger.
As you said, he can improve in the last third. Probably after he scored the goal, he stopped to play, and this has to be one thing that we need to improve immediately, absolutely, in terms of never happy if you score 1 or 2, always you have to go for more.
Because the tools are there. Madueke is a quick and effective ball carrier. He is direct and will give Arsenal another weapon to use, because he can punish teams in transition, but he can also unlock a low block. In the 2025 season, he ranked top among all Premier League players for shot-ending carries per 90 minutes. His average of 1.98 successful dribbles put him nearly level with Saka, and a long way ahead of Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. So in terms of pure dribbling on the wing, he's better than the majority of options at Arsenal. I understand why certain Arsenal fans are against this signing. On paper, it's not the best piece of business that the Gunners have ever done, but he might end up being the piece that unlocks everything. I also think that if this signing was announced after the arrival of a striker or a proper left winger, the mood around him would be different, but let's see what he can achieve. While Arsenal's attack got a lot better, so did their midfield, and a big reason for that is the new faces. Let's start with Zubimendi. This is a guy who came on as a sub for Rodri in a Euro final, and the team got even better. He replaced a Ballon d'Or winner, then outshone Bellingham and shut down Rice. That's the level we're talking about. Arsenal didn't just sign a good player, they signed a maestro. There's a reason that everyone in Spain thought he would be the natural successor to Busquets. If you watch him play, you'll notice that he's always in the right places at the right time, keeping things ticking with simple passes and just smart positioning. Now he operates primarily as a defensive midfielder, usually the sole pivot in front of the defense, but he's not a destroyer, at least not in the traditional sense. Instead of relying on crunching tackles or just sheer physicality, Zubimendi uses his brain and footballing IQ. He dictates the tempo of games through his passing and has an excellent understanding of space. It's why he gets the Busquets comparisons. And now with Rice next to him, Arsenal have one of the best midfield partnerships in the world. These two complement each other very well. Zubimendi can easily play as the 6, which allows Rice to push even more forward if he wants to. Zubimendi is essentially an upgraded Jorginho. He has the same passing, the same footballing intelligence, but he can also dribble. He has the same press resistant quality. No matter how many players swarm around him, he never panics. With a drop of the shoulder or a clever turn, he just slips away from pressure. All he needs is a quick one-touch pass or a feint, and he opens up the entire game. His ability to receive the ball under intense pressure, often with his back to the opponent's goal, and still escape and find a teammate is a priceless quality. It means that Arsenal can play out of the back confidently, knowing that Zubimendi will always offer himself as a safe outlet. Because as much as I love Rice, he's not the best at consistently receiving the ball on the half turn. He can do it, but nowhere near as good as Zubimendi can. His passing range is another key weapon in his arsenal, excuse the pun. Now he's not some flashy Hollywood passer who's going to consistently hit 60-yard crossfield balls at every opportunity, but he doesn't have to because his job is to break the lines and just find the open man. He'll drop between the center backs to collect the ball, then fire a quick pass through the midfield that takes out several opponents at the same time while finding one of his teammates in space. These aren't always the flashy assists that go on the highlight reels, but they're the passes that lead to dangerous moves. Defensively, Zubimendi is all about anticipation and positioning. He reads the game really well and is always thinking one step ahead. Now, this doesn't make him a softie when it comes to duels. In La Liga, he still won a high percentage of his aerial battles despite the fact that he isn't a super physical guy. In the 2022 season, he was ranked in the top 5 players in La Liga for ground duels and aerial duels. But for the Arsenal fans that want to see more physicality, well, I present you Ødegaard. Ødegaard is not the type of sexy signing that's gonna make headlines. He isn't a player that's gonna get you out of your seat, but it is a very smart piece of business from the Gunners. For £15 million, Arsenal have taken Brentford's captain. Now he was cheap because the guy is 31 years old, which in footballing terms is like you're practically 50. But he's not being signed to resell for profit. He's coming in to improve the quality of depth. With Jorginho and Partey gone, Ødegaard brings the physicality and experience those guys left behind. The Dane is fantastic at winning duels in the middle of the park. Only Moises Caicedo regained possession in the middle third more than Ødegaard in the 2025 season. This is a player that helps you get back possession, is great in the air, and protects the back line like a condom. He does everything that you need from a holding midfielder. In a time where any bummy Premier League player can go for 30 to 40 million pounds, it's nice to see the Gunners actually making a smart purchase. No adjustment period needed, no waiting for him to learn the language or get adjusted to the physicality of the league. He's already proven himself in the Premier League. He's been Brentford's captain and one of the most important players for them for years. This means that he can walk into this Arsenal squad and just hit the ground running. His presence means that Arsenal can rotate without seeing a drop off in quality. It also means that players like Rice and Zubimendi can get a rest when needed. When you're fighting in the Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, and more, you need players like this. Then when he's on the pitch, Ødegaard's presence means that players like Rice and Ødegaard have more freedom to get forward. They can take more risks because there's a player behind them that can bail them out defensively. Yes, Christian Ødegaard isn't the most glamorous name to join Arsenal. He won't demand the spotlight. He'll just do the job that's required, and that's the type of player every title-winning squad requires. Now, of course, on top of the new faces, Arsenal already had some incredible midfielders. They have Ødegaard, who is a playmaker capable of creating something out of nothing. The elegance he plays with, the creativity, he's a joy to watch. What makes him great is that he is a playmaker who isn't afraid to do the dirty work in midfield. He is someone who truly understands what it means to be a gunner and what it means to play for a massive club with a rich history. He saw Arteta's vision early and understood that Arsenal is one of the most stable clubs in England. A lot of people feel that the number 10 role is dying in football as teams transition to a more pressing and running game. But Ødegaard is showing that the role has not gone away, it's just changed. He scores, he can assist, but he also presses like a man possessed. Combine that with his clever touches and composure, and we really are watching one of the best midfielders in the world. Then you have Declan Rice, who has firmly established himself as one of, if not the best midfielder in the Premier League. The man is constantly in the PFA Team of the Year, and it makes sense. Other teams, players, and coaches see the value he brings. He's versatile, able to play well both as a number 6 and in a number 8 role. He's a superb athlete, one of the very best when it comes to winning the ball back. Then on the ball, he's able to go on these piercing forward runs and can get you a goal when you need it the most. Then behind this midfield, you have an impenetrable defense. Arsenal are no longer pushovers, and this is their best chance of finally getting over the hump. But to get their hands on the silverware, Arteta still has some problems that he's gonna have to deal with. To see those issues, you have to watch this video right here.